Now, ladies and gentlemen, we very rarely get to say this, but let's go to the hotline and welcome back a legend to the show. This is Mr. John Oates. John, how are you doing,
Hey,
sir?
how's it going?
How
Good. How you guys doing?
I'm pretty great. It's good to talk to you. Now, I have to tell you something funny, and I want to see if you remember this. Not too long ago, we got to see a private Hall and Oates show here in Tampa
Okay.
that I heard that you guys were really annoyed about because it was at Busch Gardens. And it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be, but I think they held it like in the area where they had the birds, and you guys were like, "We're playing in the goddamn bird garden."
Hey, you know what? Don't worry. I've been doing this a long time. I've had worse.
Yeah, let me ask you. One of the things that came up on the show this year was that you guys, the band was never called Hall and Oates. It was always Daryl Hall and John Oates, and
Yeah,
yet,
that's from the very beginning. If you looked at any of the album covers, that's what you'd see.
yeah. Did you ever care? Did it ever bother you, or were you like, "That's just weird that everybody just assumes Hall and Oates"?
It's just easier to say, you know. It's a brand thing.
Yeah.
You look, we made it a point because we always looked at ourselves as two individuals, and we didn't want to be, known as a duo, even though we were. So it's just one of those weird things, you know. So sometimes, you try to make a point. It's like, hey, it's like the Eagles. Everyone says the Eagles. Well, It's not the Eagles. It's Eagles.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
who gives a crap?
But I mean, that's the right attitude to have. But sometimes people get really annoyed by that stuff. We were discussing this off the air, and I don't know how comfortable you are talking about this, but you guys have been around, or you have been famous for so long. I mean, literally legendary for so long. What was the best decade for you as a musician?
The '70s.
70s better than
And
the
I'll tell you,
80s.
yeah. No, not everyone would assume it's the '80s because that's when we were the most popular. But no, not at all. And I'll tell you why. Because I think about this a lot. The '70s were when I was figuring it out. It was like every day, every week, every month was a new experience, a new city to play, a new challenge to overcome. Trying to get a record contract, trying to have a hit, trying to put a band together, trying to write a better song. It was just kind of a whole decade of learning and experimenting and becoming, and everything was exciting and new. By the time we hit the '80s, we knew exactly what we were doing,
Yeah.
and it was like it was almost like the '70s were like they were like the story of how something happens. The '80s were like they were like a trophy ride.
Yeah, and then I would imagine that the towards the 90s, you start in the 2000s, you start feeling like, holy cow, we've eclipsed being successful, and we've become part of pop culture. I mean, this is one of the most famous duos in the history of rock and roll now.
Well, we do, in '86 we basically stopped touring, and probably it wasn't the smartest thing to do commercially, but we did because we were kind of burned out. We made a record and toured every year from 1972 until 1986 without ever stopping, not one
Jesus.
time. So I had other things I wanted to do. I had some changes in my personal life. I wanted to step away. I wanted to have a life. Build a house, have a kid. That kind of thing. And I really never did it through the '70s and '80s. So the '90s for me was one of the best times in my life because I got to regroup and reestablish myself as an individual. And that's when I began my solo career, and things like that. Moved to Nashville, so all these really amazing things happened starting in the '90s.
I am a John Oates defender. I love the harmonies that you provide. I believe that you do a fantastic job. And listening to your new solo record, which is called Oates and it's out available now, you can hear that signature guitar sound. Did you feel over the years slighted, like you were the second member of that group, or did you always feel like it was an equal? I mean, I feel like for some reason, I don't know if it's second listing or because you weren't the main singer that you feel it. Did you feel slighted at all or no?
No, I realized what it was. Daryl Hall was one of the greatest singers of all time. And standing next to him on stage, it was pretty obvious that his voice cut through. It was radio friendly, and that's the way it was. Certain things you have to. It's like being part of a team.
Yeah.
Maybe you're not the quarterback, but shit, you can still run for a touchdown. So, um, You know what I mean? It's always going to be a compromise in some way in life, and I accepted it. But at the same time, now, after years and years, I realized that I had a very limited window of opportunity to do, to do something creative on my own, and I didn't want to miss that opportunity. I mean, look around, look at the people who are my age and even some younger who are falling by the wayside for any number of reasons.
Yeah.
And I can still sing, I can still play, I can still travel. I'm still healthy. I didn't want to miss that opportunity, and
Yeah. By the
you don't
way,
get a second chance on this.
you look great. I mean, we were trying to figure out how we saw that video that you did over the weekend with the guy stopped you on the
Yeah,
street and asked you who you are, and none of us
yeah.
had any idea how old you were because you look so fantastic. Of course, we're talking to John Oates from the legendary Hall and Oates, but John Oates has a new album out, a solo album. It's available wherever you get a delivery for music, but also you can go to johnoates.com. The album's called Oates. The song is called Real Thing Going On that I played a little while ago. I bet you probably got more than, you probably got a ton of albums left in you. You probably got a bunch of things you've always wanted to do on your own over the years, and now you got plenty of time to do it.
Well, I got music left in me, but what I don't have left in me is the will to travel. it's I'll tell you what. I don't know if you guys travel a lot, but if you do, you know how difficult it is these days, flying and all that stuff. So I like to, it's a joke, but it's actually true. I don't really get paid to play on stage. I get paid to leave my house, stay in a hotel, and get on an airplane.
Yeah, but you got Oates
That's
money.
what you got to pay me for.
You got Oates money. You're flying on nice private airplanes.
Not quite, not yet. I'm doing on a down low. I'm a very realistic person.
I would imagine that. I'll tell you what. An idea that I think would be great is that now you doing solo stuff would be great. I mean, how many people would want to sing a song with Oates? I'd put out an album called N Oates, and it was just you and other people singing it.
That's a good idea.
But
Hey,
think
you
about
never can
it.
tell.
Yeah, I mean, how many people would love the opportunity from all different decades from now, from all the way back to whenever, would want to have the opportunity to sing a song with Oates? That would be fantastic.
Yeah, we might be opening up a can of worms that could be kind of scary too.
Well, listen, we may end up in court one day if you decide to do that. Check out Oates' new album, Oates. It's available now. I did listen to it earlier. It's very much what I expect from you, and I think that's a good thing. You want to hear what you're comfortable with.
Well, good. It's definitely a side of me that is important. I've been dealing with the acoustic singer-songwriter stuff for years too, as well, and that's also part of me. But hey, listen, it's just now's the time to do a record like this, and just I will say, in February, I just found out I'm going to be heading your way to do a solo show in the Tampa area. I'm not exactly sure where we're going to be yet, but I think it's going to be in late February. So
that's great. I'd love to see that. You come down here and then Mike and Oates, we'll do a song together. She's gone.
There you go. Okay.
John Oates, it's a pleasure talking to you, sir. Good luck with the new album.
All right. Thanks, Mike.
Have a great day. There you go, John
All
Oates.
right. All right. See you.